Okay, here we are. And Greg and Gina and Julia, welcome to the chat. Um, First of all, I'll start this one out pretty easy. Is I have been in contact with my excavation company, the local one that I'm going to have doing work for me, and it's one of those where they're still yet to come out and look at the job and give me an idea what's going to be going on and all that stuff. So I'm up in the air on how this is going to take place. I'm looking forward to it, but I don't know, when it's going to happen or how much it's going to cost or any of that. I'm prepared for it, but I don't know. And also, I've been back in touch with Viking Steel Buildings about my future garage because when they said, you got to give us this much money and then we'll come out and we'll put the building up the same day. What they didn't tell me was how big of a pad they need to have for that building to be sat on. And I need that information so that I can get a hold of some contractors locally that do cement work and get a bid for them coming in and saying, okay, well, now we can come in. Hi, Troy. They can come in and they can say, okay, hi, David Glunt. They can come in and they can say, well, here you go, yeah, Greg and Gina, if you want to join in, the link's right there at the bottom. It's also linked at the top of the chat. You're welcome to join me. I think that would be awesome. Haven't anybody in the green room since last time I had Radio Jonesy. There's the last person I had join the chat. So it's been a while. So anybody wants to come in and join? Anybody? If I recognize your name, Melvin Donnie, how you guys doing? If I recognize your name as being a person that's active in all the chats, not just mine, but all the chats, I'll invite you in. Okay, here we go. We got Mr. Greg Brink coming in to join us. Hey, Greg, how we doing?
Good. How are you?
Doing good. I was hoping you were going to stop by today, but maybe tomorrow.
Yeah, I got busy doing the storage unit stuff that I purchased.
I hear you. Hey, we're all busy, unfortunately. Hey, speaking of being busy, did anybody check out Bobblehead Homestead's newest video today?
Yeah, that was pretty good.
He blew me away on that one. Hey, Charlene Grady, how you doing? They blew me away. He blew me away on that one because he'd been silent for so long that I was getting ready to email him and say, "Hey, Jeff, what's going on?" And then he pulled that video out of his hat today, and I was just like, "Okay, now I know what's been going on." I understand you can't log into YouTube. I've had that issue myself. Actually, I had the issue just tonight getting ready to do this live, where I wanted the computer that I look at over here to see the chat. I wanted to be on the other screen so that I could be looking at the camera and still seeing the chat without taking my eyes off the camera, and it won't do it. So I understand. Everybody's got issues. Everybody's got projects and stuff going on. So, Greg, how you doing with that camper?
Yeah. It's on hold right now.
Have you got it in possession?
I do, but it's not here.
Okay.
Yeah.
Hey, Brian Wilkerson, how you doing? There's a guy I see on every chat. Nomadic Hooker, how you doing? I was going to tell you, when you get it there and you're ready to start working on it, don't be afraid to reach out. I'm self-employed. I do what I want when I want, and you let me know when you got time and you want to work on that, and I'll come over and I'll give you a hand. I know a lot of things take two people.
Yeah. Well, I appreciate it. Like I said, I'm doing it on. I want to do it on my time. I mean, driving truck and stuff like that. I don't have a lot of free time. You know where I work, so.
Yeah, I do. I know you guys are busy all the time. Actually, for those that don't know, let's put this one out here real quick. Greg works for the company that was backed into our loading dock at my past job, and the truck pulled out of the loading dock, and I got pulled off the loading dock. So he works for the same company. So it's pretty cool that we got to actually intertwine on that part, because
Monday.
it was an issue where we were just getting to know each other, and it came up in a phone call, and it was like, wow, okay, that's special.
It wasn't my truck though.
Oh no, and I know it wasn't Dave's truck either. That was the funny part. It wasn't even Dave's truck. Dave was like, "There's something wrong with this truck. I hate this truck." He was having problems with it, and that created the whole scenario. So yeah, I appreciate that though, and I appreciate you telling me, hey, Dave still works for the company, but now he's working in the warehouse because he doesn't want to drive. So that was cool too. I was worried that there'd be like something far worse as like a repercussion on that one. So I'm content.
Yeah. Yeah, Dave's a good guy.
He is. He's a very good guy. And actually, he used to park his truck in our extra warehouse all the time so that he could go visit with his local girlfriend.
Yeah, that's Dave.
Yeah, the horn dog. So one of my recent projects was we bought this house back in 1999, and I knew we had bad water. There was like no question about it. And I had a company come in and test water, and they quoted me a price for their water system, but what they wanted to sell me just didn't make sense. I went over it, and I went over it, and I went over it. I was like, this whole system that they're trying to sell me for like $4,500 makes no sense at all. So I reached out to a company called Leaf Home Water Solutions, and they came in and they retested my water. Of course, they do that anyway, that part's free. And he started out with $7,500 for a water treatment system for the house. And I was like, dude, that's out of the park. There's no way I'll even talk to you if you're going to start with them numbers. And by the time we got done, he got it down to $5,500 with a 10-year finance, so it was only $75 a month. And because of that, and the fact that they could do it in 2 days, and it's a very simple system, I was like, okay, we're talking now, let's do it. And it took them about 4 hours from start to finish to come in, connect their system to my water lines from where the bladder tank is in my basement, cut the lines, put their system in, and reattach to the house lines. And I test my water like almost daily now with what they call a TDS meter. That's total dissolved solids. I mean, I take a shower and I know immediately we're running in soft water, which is awesome. But I test it for that TDS every day. And when we started, before the water system got put in, we were like almost 500 parts per million, which is right on the borderline of like the FDA's minimum requirement for this not drinkable water. And so we've been bringing water in for the last 6 years. And when they did that test, and they got the same numbers I got, so I know my meter is correct. I tested it every day, and right now we're down to like 212, and optimal drinking is like 100 or less. So we're not quite at the drinking level, but I do drink it. I put it in my coffee, but I run that through a water jet filter first. But it's like, they were like, you just got to have a system like this. And I'm like, well, what makes yours so great? There's a lot of systems on the market. A lot of them. I mean, you start researching. I was getting to the point where I was going to call again and just say, hey, you got something I can rent? I don't want to drop that kind of cash out up front. And when I got done working with a guy, I think his name was Richard from Leaf Home Water Systems or Water Solutions, and he came up with $75 a month. He's like, you can pay it off early with no early payment problems or anything like that. No, Brian Wilkerson. I am not doing a giveaway tonight, but I do have an announcement in just a couple of minutes where I will be talking about them. There are some giveaways coming up, but they won't be on my channel. But I'll give the information on that very, very quick. Actually, I'm not going to be giving anything of mine away right now because I'm going to be waiting. Greg, in case you guys don't know, Greg and I are going to be going to the Oklahoma Mid-American Meetup the weekend of May 16th, 17th, and 18th. And we're actually carpooling to get to it. And in that respect, we're picking up a third party, Troy Sutton from West Virginia. He will be joining us as well. So it's going to be a guy's weekend off. No women allowed.
And it's our pleasure to pick him up.
Yep.
So.
Well, our advantage is he also drives. He didn't want to drive that far. So now we have 3 drivers available. And I think that'll make the trip so much easier. Yeah, and Greg, I was going to tell you too, I know when I went to the one in 2023 where I met Jeff from Battlehead and a bunch of the other guys, it was a bring your own chair kind of deal. I do have some really nice fold up lawn chairs that fit in them little sleeve bags or whatever. I got a bunch of them in my camper, so if we need them, I got them.
Yeah, I've got a couple of tents. I'm looking to get like I told Troy, a 10 or 12 man.
Okay.
That way, but anybody could use anyone they want. Like I said, we have the spot reserved, and it's reserved for a big RV.
Right.
So, and they told me we could put tents on there if we don't bring an RV. So, like I said, I spoke to the lady on the phone that day. That day I looked. Hey Dave, can I have YouTube closed and keep StreamYard open?
Yes. Yeah, that stopped any echoes you were getting.
Okay. You hear me now?
I can hear you, and I don't hear any more echoes.
Yeah. That's weird how it does that, but I guess.
Trust me, I didn't know that when I first got into doing this either. I joined the live and they're going, I think it was with Brian from the Vineyard Farmhouse. He's like, shut your YouTube off, man. You're echoing like crazy. And I was like, I am. Okay, sorry, didn't know.
Yeah,
weird.
that's one thing I got to start doing. I got to do some lives, but that's all right.
Yeah, well, the thing about doing lives is you have to come up with topics to talk about.
Yep.
And you have to decide your time frame. I'll be honest with you. I've got the YouTube master list of lives sitting beside me. And I have to look at this thing every day to say, okay, who's going live now? Are they still going live? When is it? You know, like the Black Sheep Project, they were doing lives on Monday nights at 7C. They stopped doing them because they got so much other stuff going on. And, you know, there's like Simple Life Reclaimed. They were doing theirs, and they stopped doing them. So Mike and Lissa from Drifting Dreamers 5 walked into that spot. So they opened up another spot. And it's a constant movement, and everybody's always moving around. I mean, look at this piece of paper. I got more chicken scratch on the side of it than I got printed out in ink. You know what I'm saying? Because everybody keeps moving around and bouncing around and whatnot. And it's really rough. Yeah, that's the thing. You got to find a time frame. Like with me, I just decided, you know, nobody else goes live Saturdays pretty much at all. I mean, for Saturdays, there's Lazy Days Ahead at 5C, and then me at 7C, and then Gillum Farms at 8C, and then after that, there's nobody else live on Saturdays at all. Sundays are starting to get filled up a little bit because more channels are saying, hey, you know, weekends are a better time to do it because people work and they do this and they do that in the week. So the weekends are starting to fill up, and they're filling up really slow. Saturday's got a lot of wide open spots. Sunday's got a lot of wide open spots. But again, you have to what fits your schedule. Find the time and be able to run it from there. Wiley just went live. Hey,
Yeah,
I'm not home.
they
You're not allowed to do that. Or is that working with Wiley?
they were live earlier. I was watching them a little bit.
Yeah, they had a live earlier today. I didn't watch it, but I know they went live earlier today. So I know, like Johnny and Christina over there to Gillum Farms, they have probably the most filled schedule of everybody because of the number of days and different times that they go in and they do their lives. I've never seen a channel try to do so many lives in such a short period of time. Like I say, you got to come up with the content. You got to be able to narrate it and figure out how it's going to play out and stuff. And I don't know how they do it. To be honest with you, I wouldn't want to try to keep schedule like they got. It's too much,
Yeah,
as far as I'm concerned.
I mean, most of the time I'm in the truck, so
Right?
but but that's all right.
All right. So now, Brian Wilkerson, I'm going to come back to you about the giveaways. There are going to be complete herb kit giveaways for seeds, and they will be happening on two different channels. One of them is Possum Run Homestead with Mama V, Wednesdays at 5C. She's going to be giving away two of them. And then the other one is White Rock Homestead with Jason and Tara. They're on Thursdays at 6C, and they'll be giving away two of them as well. So if you want to get something from Dollar Seed or my channel, as far as that goes, that's places to go. If you want to get something from me personally, you got to go to the meetup because I'm going to be reserving all of my personal giveaways, like my shirt right here. These are all going to be held back to be given away at the live meetup, so that I've got something to get the channel out there. And of course, I'm going to redo the logo a little bit, add some more information. And of course, you got to have the word YouTube on there. I do have it on a sleeve, but without giving the time or day on it, it's kind of senseless to give out something to say, here, half-ass homestead. Yeah. I'm not like Come On Homesteading, where he can just say, hey, I want to give you a shirt that just says Come On, and everybody knows who he is. He's a big dude.
Yeah, Dave's pretty cool.
Dave's awesome.
I've never met him. I've only met Mike, Melissa, and Jacob and Serenity when they came and picked up the Honda.
Right.
But I mean, I talk to Mike every so often because I'm bringing a few items for them and a couple for Jamie and Kevin over at O'Rourke's Littlefield.
Yep.
It's just stuff I got out of the storage units. That's, as you can see on my TV, I'm listening to one as we talk. That guy, that channel's down in South Carolina, and they got me hooked on it.
What channel is that?
It's called the Bearded Thrift Machine.
Okay. Yep.
And I believe he used to be a cop.
I think you're right.
And down there, and he got out of it when I believe when everything was going on. But I mean,
I think you're right on the cop part. Yeah, if I remember correctly, I've watched this channel quite a few times. I'm not subscribed to it, but I've watched it.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I watch him all the time because I mean he gives me some tips. I just listen to the things he says, and I mean I've been a truck driver for 14 years, so I just started getting into this and YouTube a year or so ago. But I mean, you could my right now my one awesome find I found is the Rolling Stones 1997 tour, a poster of it. It's in my video. I believe I will be coming out tomorrow.
Okay.
But it's autographed by the 4 members, Mick Jagger and stuff like that. Um, it's a print of the album art. Right now, if I was to resell it, the original is going for like $3,000.
Wow.
But yeah, anyway, I won't.
All right. Well, Greg, just so people know, how do they find your channel?
It's Hitting the Road with G&G. It's the G&G is Greg and Gina. That's why you'll see Greg and Gina on a lot of the channels. We I am a truck driver. I do some travel videos. I also have a pug. He's 14 years, gonna be 14 years old. His name's Mushu. I do a lot of the shorts with him. You very rarely see Gina in the videos, but she's in some of them.
Well, that's understandable with what's going on.
Yeah, we travel. We like going. I go to auctions Monday nights, stuff like that. We go to flea markets, garage sales, stuff like that. And if I can film it, I'll film it. If I can't, then I don't. I don't try to make people mad. You know. But yeah, our channel is Hitting the Road with G&G.
That's something I learned is not a lot of everybody likes to be put on camera.
Yeah.
They feel they're being put on a spot or whatever. It could be local hardware store or whatnot. Yeah. I do go to like some of the local places where I know that they're okay with me to do video.
Yep.
But I don't take my camera with me because most of the time it's just go in, ask if they can get something, and if they can, great. If they can't, go find another one. And most of it's just like, okay, it makes no sense to take a camera. If you're going to look for a specific item and they don't carry it, why put it on video,
Yeah. I mean, if I did YouTube full time, sure, absolutely. But like I said, I still have a regular job, I guess you could say.
Right.
I could tell you 9 to 5, but I'd be telling you false news.
Now, you do the over road trips for them, or are they all local?
Every week, well, every other week, I do the same trips. Okay. Like this past week, I did Maryland, Virginia, Pennsylvania. Sometimes on the opposite week, I do Western Pennsylvania out by Pittsburgh, the Ohio line. Sometimes he'll have me go to Zanesville, Ohio to pick up horse feed, stuff like that.
Right.
And I go to up to the Thousand Islands, wherever he wants me to go. I have to. Usually I go. Right. I mean, if I have something scheduled, I have a day off. Then then I do that. But I'll work on a Saturday. Usually it's just Monday through Friday. But it is what it is, I guess you could say. I want to be out of it in a couple of years. I'm not even close to retirement age, but
well, I just hit 60, so I can retire. And because I'm self-employed now after my accident, I am self-employed, but I classify myself as semi-retired. I do what I want to do when I want to do it.
Yeah.
I don't look at it as being that I'm, fully employed by somebody where I have to get up in the morning and go do the same job. I mean, I was at Natrium there for like 32 years. And
yeah, that's when we first go ahead.
I went a couple years not being at Natrium, out on disability. Actually, I'm still out on disability. And I just got used to the fact of, I really didn't like being there every day like I did for all that time.
Yeah, it gets old after a while because, you could see I mean, DD5 has it down to a science. I think
Yep.
you got to go after your dreams, and you got to expect failure, you know, at the same time, but don't get yourself too far to where it's going to end up hurting you.
Yeah, that's where Bobo had gotten into a situation. I mean, he actually had to work 14-hour days there for
Yeah.
a long time just
Yep.
to be able to pay the bills, to be able to stay where he was at, and he was worried about losing his property. And I can understand that. I mean, he's got a lot of subscribers, but he doesn't have a lot of videos that he puts out repetitively.
Right.
Or Justin Dreamer's 5, Mike and Listen. My God, those guys put out videos. Right now, I think they're doing a video a day, and every one is interesting because it's a little something different that's going on in their lives or whatever. Some of them are showed with like O'Rourke's Littlefield. Some of them
Yep.
are showed with IB Family Factotum, where they're coming in and picking up steel or whatnot. Some of them are working with Command Homesteading,
Yep.
and because they have that repertoire with everybody, and now they've got more coming up with Simple Life Reclaimed, getting ready to do their roof,
Yeah.
and they've also got the one coming on with Ridge Life, where they're going to be going over there and helping him put that steel carport together, unless they have other plans, because Tim did say today he's prepared to put it together himself if need be, which I find ironic, but
Yeah. I think from the last video I
speaking
saw.
of IV's Family Factotum, they just came in and joined us. Hi, Anson and Gladys. How you doing?
Hey, Anson and Gladys, how are you?
Yeah, and while we're on a little bit of a pause, Brian Wilkerson, you live in North Carolina, so it's too far to you to go to a meetup. We live in New York and we're going, so that's not an excuse. And also, how's my baby chicks? My baby chicks are all gone. That Fisher cat has been my bane. I'm going to be, when I can, totally moving my chicken coop to a whole total different part of the yard. And I'm going to dig down into the ground, probably about a foot and a half, and putting a cement rim all the way around it so nothing can dig under and get up into it, because I'm tired of losing my chickens. I've lost 3 flocks so far, and it's all been to that one Fisher cat. I did see him out the window one day eating one of my chickens, and I was so close to just shooting him through the window. I mean, right through the glass, just to get rid of him and not have that problem anymore. And it was middle of winter, and I'm like, yeah, I don't want to do that. Glass isn't that expensive, and it's pretty easy to put a piece of glass in the window, but it was like 10 degrees outside, and I was like, yeah, no,
Yep.
don't do that.
It's cold tonight down here.
Anson, glad you could join us. Sorry, Gladys gets to miss it. Yeah, I mean, if it would have been like a summer day when I seen that going on, looking out a window, and it's a single pane window, so it's not even expensive glass. I could have just gone out
Right.
to the garage, cut a piece of plexiglass, and thrown it into the frame and called it good enough. I've got the glass, plexiglass, and all that to do that. But it was like 10 degrees, and I'm like, man, I am not shooting that window out. I don't want to go out in the garage to work on this thing at all. I don't want to break the glass. But I was so close. I was just like looking right down at him while he's sitting there just, nibbling on the chicken. And I was like, dude. And he lives in my backyard. That's the worst part. They'll hunt up to a 50-mile range. I've got neighbors that aren't even a mile down the road that free range their chickens, and they don't have any issues with Fisher cat. Here I am in my little 0.59 acre, and I've got the Fisher cat living on my property. Although I do plan on trying to get some things going to make that not happen anymore.
Anson, you could keep the rain there. Every
Yeah.
time Arkansas gets the bad weather, we end up getting it later, a couple days later. I don't want any more.
I wouldn't mind a little bit more rain because we've been getting quite a bit, because it is melting the snow, and I do have things under the snow that I need to get out and put into a dumpster. I was planning on doing some of it tomorrow, but I looked out there and I'm like, I told my girlfriend, I says, tell that employee that this weekend isn't going to be the time I'm going to do it. It's going to be really nice the rest of the week. I will go out and do it myself and just, fight through it. it's like all brand new sheets of texture 111 that were under tarps and on top of a pallet, and they've got black mold on them, and they're totally saturated. I don't know if it was because the tarp was leaking or if it's just leaching up from the ground or whatever. But all those sheets have to be drug over and then eventually thrown into the dumpster. But I got other things I want to put in there first, so that the texture 111, when I do put it in there, holds that other stuff down, because some of it's cardboard and styrofoam and whatnot. And if I drag it out and get it next to the dumpster, then I can wait till next weekend when these guys are here again. And you say, hey, why don't you come out and give me a hand real quick? We'll just throw all these sheets in. I think it's only like 6-7 sheets of it. Throw all that in there, and I got a few other things I want to drag over there and get thrown into the dumpster. This dumpster's been my bane for like the last month and a half, because every time I want to go out and start putting stuff in it, it's either super cold or super icy, and the ice is driving me nuts. I have bought so much rock salt, it's driving me nuts.
Yeah, we get it from Cargill by the trailer fulls for work, and we haven't been able to get any.
Yeah, I was just thinking about that, because Natrium used to get all of their water softeners out through you guys. I think they buy about 4 or 6 pellets at a time or something like that. I was going to ask you about that. There's a big shortage.
Yeah, we get the water softener from Cargill and Watkins Glen and U.S. Salt. But
Yep.
yeah, they're. I was supposed to go pick up a load of U.S. Salt this morning, but I didn't make it in time. I didn't wake up.
Well, even the people that are selling water softener salt, I mean,
Yeah.
this new system I just had put in from Leaf Home Water, it takes crystals. Like, you can't use pellets, you can't use the salt balls.
Right.
It's got to be the crystals. And I'm like, all right, so who locally sells the crystals? Well, Tractor Supply does not sell them.
Nope.
I haven't checked with like Lowe's or any of them yet. But I'm like, okay, well, so who sells these water crystals, and are they available? Because they told me over at Tractor Supply when I bought it, there was these guys that are like salting parking lots for businesses. They were going in and buying that stuff by the pallet load, because New York State has a major shortage of salt.
Yep.
Because, well, it's all getting shipped down south where they never deal with snow and ice, and
Right.
that's a major problem too. But that one takes a specific kind of salt. It has to be the crystals, because it voids the warranty if you use any other salt, which I thought was kind of weird, but okay, I accept it. I'll find it. It took 2 bags to fill it up on the first run. Not even the whole 2 bags. I still got a little bit of 1 bag left that I can dump in. I'll probably do that tomorrow. And then I'll just start reaching out, Home Depot, Lowe's, my local hardware store right here in Cincinnati. So I'll start reaching out and saying, hey, can you get this salt? Because if you can, I'll buy it. But if you can't get it, I don't want it. And I don't want to buy bulk. I only want to buy it 2 bags at a time.
It's the crystals.
Yeah.
Let me check with work, because
Okay.
I get it at, obviously, at cost.
All right.
Let me check with my boss, and we'll, if we get it, if we stock it, or we can get it, I'll see what I can do.
Okay. I thought it was funny, because I'm like, why only the crystals? Why not the pellets? Why not the balls? Salt dissolves. It's water soluble. Why only that one? And they said, well, because of the way it packs into the water softener, it dissolves faster as it's being used.
Yeah.
But it's a system that only uses like 1 bag a month. And I'm like, well, then why is that such a big issue?
Well, they want you to buy it from them.
Yeah,
Is what
do.
it is.
They do. And
Yep.
the carbon filter that they give to you for part of that system, when that filter depletes, I think it's every 4 years or 6 years or something like that. I can't remember what they told me. I got it wrote down. I actually had it on video, but my camera quit working before I recorded it. But they said when that depletes, just call us up and we'll come over and we'll service it, and we'll bring you a new tank. Well, that new tank's like $350 more.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I already paid $5,500 for the water system. So
Yeah, they're not
really
cheap.
no, they aren't. They aren't. But I appreciate it because I know my water is getting better daily. You know, I mean, this is a 1900 farmhouse, and this has probably been on the same well for, I'm going to guess, probably the last 20 years. So all those, you know, total dissolvable solids I was talking about earlier are in all the water lines. They're in the bottom of the water heaters. They're just everywhere throughout the house.
Yeah.
So, you know, and I want to replace the water heater, but it's still working. Why replace it now?
Yep.
You know.
Yep.
All right. So on a recap, we don't have very many people in here, but on a recap, Awesome Run Homestead, Mama V, Wednesday at 5 o'clock Central Time. And White Rock Homestead, Jason and Tara, Thursday at 6 o'clock Central Time. They're both going to be giving away seeds. It's the total herb kit. There's 10 packages of herb seeds. I think there's a total of about 1,300 seeds in each kit, somewhere in that neighborhood. It might be a little bit more. I'm not positive. But check them out. If you win, they're going to let me know you won, and I'll mail them right out to you.
And he will. We got ours.
I will. And if you guys want to go see Greg and Gina's channel, it's Hitting the Road with G and G. And also, don't forget to go check out Bobblehead Homestead. Jeff, the chicken whisperer, he's got some phenomenal things going on over there, and he's actually getting back into it now. He's got his things going back together. I normally try to run an hour, but I'm going to cut this one short. We've been going on now for almost 37 minutes. So everybody have a good night. We may see you again next Saturday. I can't promise anything, but we'll see what we can do. And yeah. Ivy Family, if I told them if that bag was broke, I'd give them 6, and they'd be happy. All right, so everybody have a good weekend, the rest of it, and don't forget Gillum Farms comes on at 8 tonight, or 9 tonight, 9C, right? No, I'm 7C, they're 8C, if you want to watch them. And other than that, I have nothing else to give out. And Greg, it's good having you on here.
Yeah,
and
thank you.
Can't wait to have you come over to the house and hang out. All right, everybody, we'll catch you on the next one.
All right, later.
Later.